The rain hammered against the old Victorian roof like fists pounding on a locked door. Each drop a reminder that some secrets couldn't stay buried forever. Ethan Harper, 22 and trembling in the dim kitchen light of his childhood home in rural Ohio, clutched the faded letter from his college, proof of a scholarship he'd earned in secret, far from prying eyes. But it was the photo slipping from the envelope that shattered everything. Him, arms wrapped around his roommate after a late-night study session, lips brushing in a moment of unguarded joy, captured by a careless flash. His mother's voice sliced through the storm outside, sharp as the butcher knife she'd slammed on the counter. "You're no son of mine, Ethan. Not after this filth. Get out before God strikes us both down for what you've become." Her eyes, once soft with bedtime stories, now burned with a fire Ethan had only seen in church sermons about hellfire and brimstone. He stood there, heart splintering like the family portrait on the wall, knowing this wasn't just rejection. It was exile from the only world he'd ever known. The screen door slammed behind him as he stumbled into the downpour. Backpack slung over one shoulder. The photo crumpled in his fist. By dawn, the Greyhound bus would carry him east to New York City, a place his mother had always called Sodom in whispers. But as the miles blurred Ohio's cornfields into concrete jungles, Ethan vowed silently, if love was his sin, he'd build a heaven from its ashes, one brick at a time, no matter the cost. The city swallowed him whole that first week, a beast of honking taxis and indifferent crowds that made his small-town lungs ache for fresh air. He crashed on a lumpy couch in a Brooklyn walk-up shared with 3 strangers, each nursing their own ghosts, a painter fleeing divorce, a barista dodging debts, a dancer chasing dreams that flickered like faulty neon. Ethan found work stocking shelves at a dusty bookstore in Greenwich Village, the kind of place where leather-bound classics whispered forgotten romances to anyone willing to listen. Mr. Rosenthal, the owner, a wiry man in his 70s with glasses perpetually fogged from tea steam, took one look at Ethan's haunted eyes and slid him a key to the basement apartment downstairs. "Books don't judge, kid," he muttered. "And neither do I." Nights blurred into shifts, Ethan's fingers tracing spines of novels about outcasts and lovers, Wilde's Dorian Gray, Baldwin's Giovanni's Room, each page a mirror to the ache he buried under polite smiles. He avoided mirrors himself, afraid of the boys staring back, lean frame hidden in oversized flannels, dark curls unkempt, blue eyes shadowed by sleepless nights replaying his mother's words like a curse. "Filth," she'd spat, her Bible thumping the table like a gavel. But in the quiet hours, when the store's bell tinkled shut, Ethan let himself dream of a life where holding hands wasn't a scandal, where family meant chosen hearts, not blood ties stained with shame. It was on a crisp October afternoon, leaves carpeting the village sidewalks in fiery reds, that Alex Rivera walked in, shattering Ethan's fragile routine like sunlight through stained glass. Alex, 30 and radiating the easy confidence of someone who'd fought his battles and won a few, browsed the poetry section with fingers that moved like they were caressing sonnets. He wore a simple navy blazer over a white tee, slacks hugging his athletic build from years coaching high school track, his black hair cropped close, hazel eyes crinkling at the corners when he laughed, a sound that echoed off the shelves like music. Ethan, perched on a ladder reshelving Austin, nearly toppled when their gazes locked. Alex's smile was warm, unassuming, the kind that invited secrets without demanding them. Looking for something specific? Ethan asked, voice steadier than he felt, descending with pride and prejudice clutched like a shield. Alex tilted his head, that grin deepening. Yeah, words that make sense of the mess. You got any on second chances? Their fingers brushed as he took the book, a spark jumping like static on wool. And Ethan felt seen, truly seen, for the first time since Ohio's reign. What started as lingering chats over closing time coffee evolved into stolen evenings, walks along the Hudson where the river mirrored city lights like scattered diamonds, shared slices of pizza on fire escapes where Alex confessed his own scars, coming out in a conservative Texas family at 17, losing his father to a heart attack fueled by unspoken rage. He never said the words, Alex murmured one night, their shoulders touching on a park bench. But I felt them every day. You're braver than you know. Ethan, running toward something instead of just away. Ethan leaned into him, the weight of Alex's arm an anchor in the storm of his doubts. Brave? I feel like I'm still running scared. But in Alex's kiss, tentative under a canopy of autumn stars, Ethan tasted possibility, sweet, forbidden, alive. They tumbled into rhythm, Alex's apartment in Chelsea, with its exposed brick and track trophies gathering dust, became sanctuary. Mornings tangled in sheets, laughter bubbling over burnt toast, evenings where Alex read aloud from Neruda, his voice wrapping around Ethan like a promise. Yet shadows lingered. Ethan's phone stayed silent, his mother's number blocked, but her voice echoing in nightmares. He hadn't told Alex everything, not the photo, not the bus ticket clutched like a lifeline, not the way rejection had carved hollows under his eyes. You're holding back, Alex said one rainy Sunday, tracing the scar on Ethan's palm from a childhood fall. Let me in, F. Whatever it is, the words stuck like burrs as winter cloaked the city in frost. Ethan buried himself deeper in the bookstore, volunteering for inventory nights to avoid the vulnerability. But fate, that cruel puppeteer, had other plans. A package arrived one gray February morning, unmarked, postmarked Ohio. Inside, his mother's rosary beads, snapped in half, wrapped around a note in her looping script. Pray for your soul, or burn with the devil's children. Ethan's knees buckled, the beads clattering across the hardwood like accusations. Alex found him there, curled on the floor amid scattered novels. Talk to me, he urged, pulling Ethan close, his coach's hands steady on trembling shoulders. And so it poured out, the kitchen confrontation, the storm, the exile. Alex listened without interruption, his face a mask of quiet fury, until Ethan finished, voice raw. She condemned me, Alex. Said I was dead to her. How do you build anything on ruins like that? Alex cupped Ethan's face, thumbs brushing away tears. You don't build on ruins. You clear them away and plant something new. With me. If you'll let me. Their foreheads touched, breaths mingling in the chill air. And in that moment, Ethan chose no more hiding. He kissed Alex fiercely, tasting salt and hope, vowing silently to forge a path where love wasn't a battlefield. Spring unfurled in tentative blooms, mirroring the cautious thaw in Ethan's heart. They moved in together that April, Alex's Chelsea loft expanding to hold Ethan's vinyl collection and dog-eared journals. Mornings became rituals, Ethan brewing coffee strong enough to wake the dead. Alex lacing up running shoes for dawn jogs along the reservoir, returning flushed and pulling Ethan into sweaty embraces that dissolved into laughter. "You're my finish line," Alex would tease, nuzzling his neck. And Ethan believed it, finally, achingly. But love's bloom brought thorns. Alex's job at the elite Manhattan prep school demanded discretion. Whispers of the gay coach could unravel his tenure. Ethan, meanwhile, wrestled with Mr. Rosenthal's ailing health, the old man coughing through shifts, hinting at retirement. "Find your story, kid," he'd rasp, pressing a key into Ethan's palm. "Don't let fear write the ending." Ethan dreamed of buying the store, turning it into a haven for queer voices. But the numbers mocked him, loans denied for his spotty credit, immigrant parents' ghosts haunting bank forms. Tension crested one humid June evening at a village pride event, rainbows draping lampposts like defiant banners. Hand in hand amid the throng, drag queens strutting in sequins, allies waving flags, Ethan felt invincible. Until a face from the past pierced the joy, his cousin Lila, vacationing from Ohio, eyes widening in recognition. "Ethan? Oh God, is that?" she faltered, phone already slipping out. Panic clawed Ethan's throat. "Don't," he begged, grip tightening on Alex. "Please." "Not yet." Lila nodded, conflicted, but the seed of dread took root. Days later, a voicemail from an unknown Ohio number, his mother's sister, voice laced with false concern. "Family's worried. Ethan, come home. Fix this." Phase. He deleted it. But the fracture widened, nights where Alex's snores couldn't drown the what-ifs. Summer's heat wave amplified the strain. Alex pushed for commitment, a ring, whispered plans over rooftop barbecues, but Ethan's ghosts whispered louder. What if she finds out? What if it poisons everything? One sweltering argument erupted after a school board meeting where Alex dodged questions about his personal life. "I'm tired of half measures. If we're doing this, we're all in, no shadows." Ethan stormed out, wandering rain-slick streets until dawn, ending up at the bookstore's locked door. Mr. Rosenthal, frail but fierce, let him in with a thermos of tea. Love's not a sprint, boy. It's a marathon full of cramps and wrong turns. But quitting, that's the real defeat. Ethan nodded, tears hot on his cheeks, realizing the truth. His mother's condemnation wasn't chains. It was permission to choose his own chains. Lighter ones woven with Alex's hand in his. Reconciliation came softly, under a harvest moon picnic in Central Park. Alex, vulnerability etched in his tired eyes, held out a small box, not a ring, but a keychain etched with our story. No pressure. Just us. Building, brick by brick. Ethan pulled him close, the city humming around them like a lullaby. "I'm in," he whispered. All the way, fall painted the city in golds, and with it came reinvention. Ethan secured a small business loan, buoyed by Alex's coaching contacts, and the bookstore transformed. Harper's Haven, shelves groaning under LGBTQ plus titles. Open mics drawing crowds of wide-eyed youth. Mr. Rosenthal beamed from his armchair throne, passing the torch with a gruff, "Don't screw it up." Alex, promoted to head coach, came out to his team in a circle of teenage nods. No fanfare, just quiet acceptance that healed old Texas wounds. Yet the past prowled. A letter arrived in November, Forwarded from Ohio, his mother's handwriting. Envelope crisp as judgment. Ethan sliced it open with shaking hands. Alex at his side. "Dearest Ethan," it began, words stiff with unpracticed mercy. "I've prayed. The church says forgive. But I can't forget. Stay away for both our sakes. No olive branch. Just a wall repainted." Ethan folded it away, chest tight. "She's still there?" In my head, Alex squeezed his hand. "Then let's fill your head with us. Something bigger. Over Thanksgiving turkey and takeout pie. They broached the impossible. Family. Not blood, but chosen adoption. A dream Alex had harbored since coaching kids who'd lost their way. Ethan hesitated. Visions of his mother's rosary beads clashing with images of tiny hands in his. What if I'm broken? What if I pass on the hurt? You're not broken. You're mending. Alex's eyes shone with that unshakable faith. And in the quiet after, Ethan saw it, a future not haunted, but haunted by joy. Winter wrapped them in possibility. Agency visits blurred into home studies, their loft inspected like a treasure map to parenthood. Ethan chronicled it in a journal, pages filling with sketches of nurseries and fears voiced aloud. "I want to give them what I never had, unconditional," he told Alex one snow-dusted night. Bodies entwined by the radiator's glow. Alex traced lazy circles on his back. "You already do. For me. For us." The call came on a blustery January day. Twin brothers. 5 years old. Brothers in loss, their parents gone in a car wreck. Bounced between fosters until now. Luca and Matteo, with wide brown eyes and curls like wild halos, arrived clutching stuffed dinosaurs. Wary as colts. Ethan's heart cracked open at their first hesitant hugs. Alex kneeling to their level with track stories that coaxed giggles. Home, Ethan breathed that night, watching them sleep in race car beds. Alex's arm around his waist. We did this, but joy's dawn brought midnight storms. Luca's nightmares echoed his own, screams of abandonment that pulled Ethan from bed, rocking the boy until dawn. Matteo clung to Alex like a shadow, testing boundaries with playground scuffles that ended in tearful confessions. "Nobody wants us," he'd whisper, and Alex would counter with marathons of board games, proving otherwise. Ethan marveled at it all, the raw edges of fatherhood sharpening his love into something fierce, protective. Spring thawed the tensions, but fate twisted the knife. A social worker's routine check unearthed Ethan's past Ohio records. The estrangement flagged as risk. Family history of rejection could impact stability, the email read. Cold as bureaucracy. Panic surged, court dates loomed, lawyers billing hours they couldn't spare. "They'll take them," Ethan gasped to Alex in the dim living room. Luca's dinosaur abandoned on the rug. "Because of her, because of me," Alex pulled him up, voice steel beneath the fear. "No. We fight. Like we always have." They rallied, letters from the bookstore community, testimonials from Alex's team, playdates that bloomed into village support. In the hearing room, sterile and echoing, Ethan testified, voice breaking on tales of exile turned triumph. "I know loss," he said, eyes on the judge, "but I built from it. These boys, they're my redemption." The gavel fell in their favor. A quiet mercy amid the storm. Outside, under a sky bruised purple, Luca and Matteo raced ahead, oblivious to the victory. Ethan collapsed into Alex, sobs of relief mingling with laughter. "We won," Alex murmured, kissing his temple. "Our family." Summer swelled with normalcy's bliss. Beach days at Coney Island where Mateo buried Alex in sandcastles. Luca's hand firm in Ethan's as they rode the Ferris wheel. City sprawl, a glittering promise below. Evenings on the fire escape. Fireflies dancing to the boys' bedtime pleas for one more story. Ethan wove tales of brave runaways finding kingdoms. Alex adding choruses of cheers, their glances weaving deeper vows. Yet the ghost of Ohio stirred. A package arrived unannounced, baby clothes, monogrammed with Harper from Lila, his cousin. Note attached, heard whispers. "Congrats. F. She's softening." Maybe. Ethan stared at the tiny socks. A bridge half-built. He penned a reply. Words careful, photos of the boys blurred at the edges. Captions of joy without plea. "We're whole," he wrote. No return address. Some doors stayed ajar, not flung wide. As leaves turned, a deeper current pulled. Alex's knee, battered from coaching falls. Whispered retirement dreams, a house upstate. Roots in soil, not concrete. Ethan felt the tug. Bookstore thriving under a manager's eye. Haven secured. "Let's go," he said one amber afternoon. Boys tumbling in leaves. Build more fields. Fences. Forever. The move unfolded like a love letter to second acts. A fixer-upper in the Hudson Valley. Creaky floors echoing with Luca's piano lessons. Mateo's soccer goals on dew-kissed lawns. Neighbors nodded over fences. Potlucks weaving them into fabric. Widows sharing pie recipes. Dads trading grill tips. No questions on the 2 rings glinting silver on calloused hands. Alex coached local youth. Ethan opened a pop-up bookmobile. Wheels carrying stories to farms and hollows. One crisp November dawn, as frost etched the windows, Ethan slipped out to the porch swing, coffee steaming in his mug. Alex joined him, blanket draped. Their son's snores a distant hum. "Regrets?" Alex asked, head on Ethan's shoulder. "None." Ethan turned, hazel eyes meeting blue in the half-light. "She condemned me once. But look what rose from the ashes, you. Them. This." He gestured to the valley unfolding gold and green. A kingdom claimed. Alex smiled, that coach's grin undimmed. A family she'd never know. But one that knows her forgiveness isn't needed. In the quiet, Ethan felt at peace, not fragile, but forged in fire's temper. Love wasn't absence of storm. It was dancing through it, hand in hand, building legacies that outshone old condemnations. And as the sun crested, painting their world in warmth, Ethan whispered a silent toast to the boy on the bus. "You'd made it home."